The lights flickered across Ukraine as an invisible war unfolded in the digital realm. It was December 23, 2015, just before Christmas, when power plant operators in western Ukraine noticed something unusual. Their computer cursors started moving on their own. Systems were shutting down, one by one, as if possessed by an unseen force. Then, at precisely 3:30 p.m., the lights went out. Nearly 250,000 people were plunged into darkness. This was no ordinary power outage. It was the first ever confirmed cyber attack on a nation's electricity grid, and behind it was Russia's most feared intelligence agency, the GRU. The attack had been months in the making. GRU hackers, operating under the infamous alias Sandworm, had infiltrated Ukraine's power infrastructure, silently embedding malware into critical systems. The moment they struck, they seized control, locking out Ukrainian engineers and cutting power at 30 substations simultaneously. But they weren't done yet. As utility workers scrambled to regain control, the GRU delivered the final blow. They deployed a second-stage attack, launching a destructive piece of malware called Kill Disk. It wiped crucial data, rendering entire systems useless. The Ukrainian power company couldn't simply reboot its way out of the crisis. The damage was permanent. Phone lines went dead. Emergency response systems failed. Ukraine was under siege, not by missiles or tanks, but by an enemy that left no visible trace. It was a warning shot. The GRU had demonstrated a terrifying new weapon, cyber warfare capable of crippling a nation's infrastructure without firing a single bullet. Western intelligence agencies watched closely. If Russia could turn out the lights in Ukraine, what else was possible? Then, a year later, on December 17, 2016, it happened again. Another cyber attack, this time more sophisticated, targeted Kyiv's power grid. In less than an hour, entire sections of the capital went dark. Unlike the previous attack, this one was fully automated, requiring no human intervention once it was unleashed. The malware, later identified as Indestroyer, was the most advanced piece of cyberweaponry ever deployed against a civilian power grid. Ukraine accused Russia, but the Kremlin denied everything. The GRU operatives responsible for the attack vanished into the digital shadows, their fingerprints erased. Yet the message was clear. Russia had the power to shut down an entire country with a keyboard. The Ukraine power grid attacks weren't just acts of cyber sabotage. They were test runs, blueprints for a future where wars wouldn't just be fought on battlefields, but in cyberspace. The GRU had pioneered a new form of hybrid warfare, proving that the next global conflict might not begin with an invasion, but with the silent flick of a switch.